What's up, wrestling fans? Mouth of the South Shore, Eric Cordova here. And I don't have a catchy line this week because, yeah, I'm wearing pants this time. But we do have two things to talk about. It's a bonus show for you. We got the Survivor Series. We got Raw. So I'm going to review both of them here real quick and give you a little preview as to what's going to happen on Wednesday for the Mouth of the South Shore radio show. It's going to be interesting because I'm going to be doing the show on location from Florida, whereas my co-host will still be in town. So Eric Kravit will still be in the Long Island Iced E, but I will be calling into the show. So it's going to be a little different, but we're still going to be talking wrestling, still having some fun. It's just that I'll be a lot more comfortable in a lot better temperatures. So look forward to that and look forward to me making fun of him for that. But let's talk about some things that happened. Obviously, the big thing at Survivor Series was the debut of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Two of those three guys have been talked about as indie darlings. So they're supposed to be this big deal, these guys that have to be called up because they're future champions, and, well, they're dressed like the guy from Sprockets. Touch my monkey! Touch it! Yeah, they're wearing all black, and they beat up Ryback. The problem is, I feel like it's going to curtail Ryback's push. And, yeah, I understand that you want to push these guys too, it looks like. But if you feud those guys against one another, someone is going to fail. I mean, they have to. Someone's got to lose, and you're taking two young guys, and no one's benefiting from it right off the bat. Ryback's not in a position to put people over yet. He still needs to be a monster. So I'm not sure about where they're going with this. And Raw didn't help because we watched 3 hours of the show. Sometimes I forget. But it is freaking grueling, man. But 3 hours of the show, just to get to the end, where the same thing happened. So if you watch the pay-per-view and you're like, oh man, I'm intrigued by these guys. And then you saw them do the exact same thing on Raw. So you're like, why did I pay for that pay-per-view? That's the problem these days. Pay-per-view doesn't seem to mean anything anymore. Pay-per-view is just, hey, buy this show so that nothing will progress. And that's the problem in TNA and in WWE. I mean, you had things on the pay-per-view that should have happened that didn't. The Miz just turned babyface. And guess what? He lost his match! He's in the Survivor Series match. Perfect time to make him look awesome by having him be the sole survivor. Nah, why do that? Why make him look good when he just turned? Do these guys who are booking have any clue anymore? Like, any clue? That's how you get a guy over! He survives! And guess what? They should have saved him till the end. No one tagged him, and then he gets the hot tag. Make sure the crowd reacts to him. That's what you do with a newly turned babyface. It didn't happen. The pay-per-view was decent. There were some good things that happened at the beginning of the show. I just felt the booking at the end was not so good. As for Raw, I don't like the fact that guys get title shots by beating the champions all the time. Why can't the champions beat a bunch of people and then someone... It's a little backwards for me. The one guy I think they're doing it right with is Antonio Cesaro. He's beating all sorts of guys that he's better than, so that when guys get title shots and they beat him eventually, it'll mean something. To me, that's the way it has to go. Not Kofi Kingston losing to Wade Barrett, not Hell No losing, although they didn't. But it just doesn't work that way. It's got to work where guys get title shots by earning them, and the champions look strong. So when you beat them, it means something. Doesn't mean anything to beat someone who's below you. Yeah, I guess the other thing we need to talk about is the fact that Dolph Ziggler finally cut a good promo. It was in the back, and he cut a promo that felt real about AJ. Talked about who she really was and her background. That's what Dolph needs to be. Not hiding behind Vicky, not involved in this stupid storyline, which has gone too far, by the way. Let John Cena and Dolph Ziggler feud regularly. They don't need this extra nonsense, and it's just making Vicky and AJ look ridiculous. And I'm over it. But the number one thing you have to take out of the show is nothing progressed. We need to get answers next week. We need to find out who these guys are. Otherwise, they run the risk of turning into the aces and eights, where they're just purposeless, running around like chickens with their heads cut off. But, you know, we'll talk about that and more. We're going to have an hour-long show. I know it's the day before Thanksgiving, and hopefully you guys are going to be with your families and having a good holiday. But tune in for an hour. Mouth of the South Shore radio show, of course. The link is below the video. You can Catch us at 9 p.m. Wednesday night on Blog Talk Radio /Fan vs. Fan Network. Make sure you catch us there, if not in archive. You can find our link on Twitter. Mine is at FanVSFan, MOTSS, Kravit _award, and Jason Pozorowski. We hope to have him too. That's going to be at Broiled Sports. So make sure you stay in touch with all of us. Tweet at us. Listen to the show. Make sure you keep catching these videos. And, yeah, it's been fun. Hopefully you guys tune in on Wednesday. Look forward to seeing you there. Have a good one.